Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I'm Don. This is Rockin' the Country. I'm looking forward to this. Anytime Don Williams, I love it. And I don't know this song. Nobody requested it. It went like this. The name of the song is Don't You Think It's Time? You're not going to go wrong with Don Williams, period. Nobody requested it, but I was looking for a link to It's About Time by Don King. I don't know where I saw Don King referenced. It might have been in the comments. I don't know where, but I said, all right, I'm going to do something by Don King. I've never done anything by Don King. But when I typed in Don King in YouTube, the only thing that came up was the boxing promoter. He dominated the search. But this song showed up quite a ways down the page by Don Williams. I'm like, I can't go wrong with Don Williams. But if you guys have a song that fits the channel's theme by Don King, let me know or put the link or something like that. And we'll see where this goes. Yeah, you could just let me know in the comments. So, all right, let's see what Don Williams has. Don't you think it's time? Time for what, Don? He and I share the same first name.
Don't you think it's time for us to work it out?
Oh.
Don't you think you know what it's all about? Don't you think it's sad living all alone? So
Yes.
don't you think it's time for us to get along? We know the songs of all the wrongs, love that died, nobody tried, but here and now I know what's true. I can't live without you.
She's got a different
So
idea.
don't you think it's time
I hope she does.
for us to work it out? Don't you think you know what it's all about? Don't you think it's sad
It is.
living all alone? So don't you think it's time for us to get along? Find the page that says we're old. Is love at home?
Huh.
Or is it cold?
Wait. Find the page that says we're old? I don't get that one.
So don't you think it's time for us to work it out? Don't you think you know what it's all about? Don't you think it's sad living all alone? So don't you think it's time for us to get along?
This is so open-ended. I like it. This is the kind of song that you could listen to anywhere. You could be like working on your car in the garage. You could be driving down the road. You could just be in your house. It's just a beautiful song. I mean, it's the heart behind it. Don't you think it's time for us to work it out? We never got her side of it. obviously his heart, yeah, maybe they've been that line about being old that I didn't understand and still don't, but maybe that's like an allusion to the fact that they've been apart for a long time. And don't you, and like I like that line, don't you think you know what it's all about or something? And it's like we both know what the issues are. Now let's work it out. We've had time apart, but he never said how much time. Was it like a day? Was it 10 years? Like I've known people, one of my former neighbors, they were divorced for like 30 years and then they got remarried. It's like, oh my God. Their kid, they had one kid. He wanted to blow his brains out. He was a heavy metal, hard rocking banger. And I ran into him one day and he was like in his 40s or 50s at that point. And he was like, I got to go to therapy or I'll blow my brains out because his parents somehow got back together after like 30 years of being apart. And then in other situations, it's a couple of years, it's months, it could be weeks. I know what I went through. And the reason I said in this thing, well, I wanted to work it out. She didn't. And I know what that feels like. It's really sad at first. It's really brutal at first when you're in the house by yourself for these long stretches. Then eventually it has its advantages too, but when you're used to being with somebody and now you're not, especially even if you've fallen out of love with that person, let's say, like generally speaking, even when you get divorced, you don't stop loving that person. You're not in love with them, but the longer time goes by, generally you're not in love with them. You may not like them anymore. You may not trust them anymore. You may not believe in them whatever. There are advantages to being on your own, but you really do want to be with somebody. When you've been with somebody for quite a while, people are socially oriented anyway. There's a reason people keep getting married, even though we know what the divorce rates are and all that stuff. People still do it because we want to try. But I love that he was like, just so gently, don't you think it's time for us to work it out? And I love the heart behind that. I'm going to rate this one. Nobody requested it, so shout out to me. The number that popped into my head was a 9.0. So simple. I love simple. I love it. And yet it makes such a beautiful point, as Don Williams pretty much always does. So there you go, guys. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.